Greetings and salutations. It is 9 o'clock Sunday night UK time. Can mean only one thing. It is time for the Mel, the Sunday Night Alive, your weekly terrain Q&A questions show. Yes, I look gruff. Yeah, there is a particular viewer of this show that is in trouble. Somewhere in the chat hiding is my daughter. Yeah, who's been with me this week. And she has absolutely given me a stinking cold. I have been laid up all weekend. For those of you waiting for the chat Hala video, I'm going to put it out tomorrow morning because, well, tomorrow I'm going to film it because I've only just started. Like, I don't even sound normal yet. I see all the hell yes coming in. 10 taps. If you're here, folks, and you like the show, 10 taps. 4 for the hell, 1 for the space, 4 for the yeah, 1 to put a smile on my face. You can hit it in there. I'm seeing plenty of regular names. Good to see you, folks. The Google Doc is open. I've got questions coming in already. But we're going to need more questions. Poor Mel. I know. I have been... She came in, yeah, and she literally come in and she was like, I'm really ill and you're going to get it and it's really bad. It's like, cheers. Thanks. Hey, Mott. So, but even so, I was not going to miss the show. Now, luckily, the effects of the lurgy only sort of hit on sort of late Friday, which means I've had a brilliant week in the studio. Yeah. Menno saying, I have your book, so no more questions from me. I know more than there is in the book, mate. Quite a lot more, actually. Sign of love, share the misery. Oh, she loves me. She gives me everything. Like the lurgy. Sharing is caring. I know. I mean, what are you supposed to do? Do you know what I mean? Jason Hall is asking, enough for another book? Do you know, I don't really think it's something I should really, I don't know. Evan's saying, good business practice. Never put all your knowledge out there at once. Yeah. Get rid of that cold and we can have a catch up later this week, buddy. Oh, nice one, Lee. Cold's going, but to catch up would be good, mate. So yeah, you sort of distracted me there with comments of other books. I have thought about doing another book, yeah, but I've always sort of like, I've got this idea that if I do another book, I'll probably do a book on the Burma build when it's done. You know what I mean? Which is, that's saying something, isn't it? You know what I mean? When it's done. But that's what I've been working on this week quite heavily. Now, obviously, you've seen the video on the channel of me getting green-fingered and restaining my lichen. Yeah, I can now confirm that all my lichen, yeah, is of a natural colour. I have a very neutral green toned lichen across the board, which doesn't sound like much until you realise that I had a near bin bag of the stuff. So I've been mixing, drying, batch processing and getting it all done. Yeah, so that's looking good. On top of that, cracked on with the the Japanese defences. Okay, finished them off, swapped the lichen out, got more realistic colours on and put the paths in and all that sort of stuff, and it's looking great. And I'm really looking forward to tomorrow in the studio. Yeah, because my plan tomorrow is I'm going to go in and basically my day is setting up the Burma build on the table, filming it, going all around and taking photos and doing all that sort of stuff. So it wraps up the, it wraps up the whole project, if you know what I mean. The whole Japanese defences, which is really, really important. Yeah, because Lee, I want a game. Oh, I am nailing the milk today. It's because of my throat. Sore throat. Heard your layout for the book talk about working on your book in the Little Wars podcast. Oh, the book was a hell of an adventure. The one thing I'll say about the book is the book hit at the same time as my life sort of like went through a roller coaster, as many of you know. You know, health, mental health. On top of that, we had a global pandemic and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, and so it was just a crazy time. But the one thing that me and Dave both said was, yeah, we produced a hell of a book. Even though the universe threw everything at us, yeah, we still produced a hell of a book. But with regards to what you call it, another book, yeah, in all honesty, I've been pottering around with the idea, just like dotting things down for a big Burma build book. Yeah, I like the idea. More about like building big sets, that sort of thing. But it's one of those things that a lot of the time now, I'm actually alone at home. Yeah, the kids are grown up, they're out all the time. Quite often I've got, Odin! Thank you, buddy! I haven't seen one of those in ages. Yes, there are links down below. If you like the show, folks, it is appreciated. Yeah, you can put a smile on my face. We'll talk about gopher dances at some point and that sort of... That came out of the blue. But anyway, yeah. And so I've got a lot of sort of like a little bit of time on my hands. A bit more than usual, if you know what I mean. And so, you know, I've been pottering with ideas, but there is no plan of me writing a book or anything like that, or commitment or anything like that. So don't think I'm disappearing and doing something. It's just, it's been a bit of a sort of a hobby project, if you know what I mean, a thinking exercise. Now the good thing is, all the stuff on the channel that I've been struggling with this past year, getting back into the channel, that's pretty much sorted. Yeah, we're all good. Yeah, I'm loving the train I'm making. I'm filming okay. Yeah, I'm already at the stage where I'm looking at the third camera setup, which Odin has just, sort of donated to. It's down there in that corner. Yeah, basically the third camera will be another sort of like refurbished phone on an adjustable mount, but I want a sort of a tripod with an extendable arm on it. Yeah, so I can do sort of a desk shot that goes point straight down. Yeah, and so now doing the lives, yeah, any donations to the lives, if you're enjoying them, if you're enjoying the content, it all goes to that. See, I must be getting better. I can nail it with a finger right now. I mean, I used to be like all that. Right. Devil makes work for idle hands. I think it is, Martin, to be truthful. What's happening is I'm in the studio, I'm pretty much there full time. Yeah, back like we were before. So I go in and I do pretty much a full day now. And that's like 6 hours in the studio. Yeah, because there's still video editing and all that sort of stuff to do. But also, after 6 hours of like filming content and talking, you get a bit sore in the throat, you get a bit flaggy and you start making mistakes on the content. So 6 hours is about the cut-off for doing stuff. Yeah, and so that's all good. But when I get at home, if I've done my editing pretty quickly and I've caught up with my admin, like going through the Terrainiacs group and that sort of stuff, I find my mind pottering. You know what I mean? Oh, check. So, overhead camera, that's the one. Do you do any modelling kits like vehicles? Ooh, well, let me show you. Right. We're having a play because I'm playing with the second camera angle. Yeah, so let's go to the desk shot. Haha, told you I'd get it sorted. I'm still working it out. Yeah, but now I can show off my toys. So, got an M7 Priest here. So yeah, it's in progress. It's a bit blurry, isn't it? I think it's because it's opposite the light. We may have to look at that. Yeah, but that's coming together. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to play with this camera and get a better angle on it. Yeah, because it's a little bit blurry and it's because of that light that's over there. But that's how it should look, hopefully. Go on, we're going to get a decent shot once it's finished. I'm quite proud of it. Obviously it's not going to shrink or anything. Right. There we go. Right, let's have a look at the comments. I'm going to need some more questions or this is going to be a short show, folks. Also, yeah, if you're liking the show, hit the like button. We've got twice as many viewers as we've got likes right now and you're all watching it. right next to that like button, so hit it. Let's spread the love. That scout car is ace. It is, thank you. I'm just finishing off. I mean, I've got, in fact, if I just point it over there. Right, in fact, no, you can't see it. Right now, I've got a Sherman, a Stuart. I've got a load of stuff. Hey, a pagan. Lich button. I like that. Let's hit the lich button. I like your clothing. Did you hunt down the teddy bear yourself, or did you trade the fur for a native plush hunter? This is incredible. This is toasty clothes, comfort clothes. Yeah. For some reason, yeah, at Christmas, everyone buys me fluffy pajamas and dressing gowns and slippers. It's pretty much the only thing I get at Christmas anymore, as well as selections of craft beer, which I find kind of strange because I don't drink beer, and I never have. Yeah, I'm a spirits person. In fact, I don't think I've had a pint of beer in it's got to be coming close to 20 years. Menno saying, me, I also hooked on hoodies. I've just reached that stage in my life where I'm looking at comfort. You know what I mean, guys? Everyone say, all right, who's in the PJs right now? Who's in the comfies? Let us know in the comments. They're trying to keep you warm. They're doing a good job at it. I've got a 135 Mark 5 tank from the Tank Museum. I want to make a little diorama of crossing a trench. Time to get popcorn and watch Mel's trench video again. That'd do it. Bloody Hatchet saying he's at work. Well, depends where you work, doesn't it? I mean, if you work in like a remote office where it's only just you, you could probably get away with it. If you're an ambulance driver. Some dude on YouTube saying it's Sunday. Not anyone not in comfortable clothes is weird or working. Yeah, Great Night Games is the same. First world problems. Right, I'm getting questions coming in. Right, I'll wait till I've got a couple more questions, then we'll just get stuck into it. Bloody Habs, it was work at hospital, hiding in the closet watching you. Dude, you're not responsible for any critical care or anything like that, are you? You know, there's not a beeping machine going off in the background and you're like, yeah, okay, I'll get that. I'll get that. Then again, I can't say anything. Back when I was a medic. Patient care. He's groaning. He's still alive. Diane saying, I'm in my comfies, but that's a Terrainiacs t-shirt and a pair of shorts with the window open. I couldn't wear that in midwinter. I'd melt. Stop it. Stop it. That's just cruel. No, floor care. That'll do. That's a fair dodge, mate. I do not want to be responsible for a failure in critical care. Use the long-term coma patient's room hatchet. That's it. Now we're all going to start a conversation of where we think the best place is to hide in a hospital. Personally, I'd say the morgue. On a Sunday night, who's going to bother you down there? Tabletop Blaster's saying, you look great in this cloth. Could be a British TV show where the host is sitting in a living room wearing such a coat and talks about politics. Do you know what? We should have like a mock-up, shouldn't we? Yeah, with like a stately sort of living room, and I'll get a smoking jacket. Diane's saying that. I'm not even reading that. Each surface saying, how do you make scatter terrain mesh better with the table mat? You do it by blending, mate. Yeah, what you've got to do is, first off, it depends. Yeah, which came first, the scatter terrain or the mat? Okay, if the mat comes first, then what you should do is look at your scatter terrain and try and match it straight off to the mat. Okay, by using the right appropriate dark scatters or light scatters, the appropriate colours. Normally, though, the issue is that people build the scatter terrain first and then buy a mat later because it's sort of an investment. Yeah, which means that you get a mat and then you've already got your scatter terrain and you can't match the colours. If that's the case, then what you can do is you can paint the mat. Now, if you've got an airbrush, yeah, you can give it a dusting, yeah, of the colours that work with your scatter terrain. If you've not got an airbrush, yeah, you can use rattle cans, yeah, but it's got to be a dusting. You can't go up close with a rattle can on them, yeah. And if that doesn't work, what you can do is you can just get a sponge, yeah, get your right ground colours. It's not about repainting the entire mat. It's about introducing enough of the colour, okay, in the mat, yeah, so that the scatter terrain feels okay. Yeah, one of the things you've got to remember is just figure out how much scatter terrain you've got to put down. If you've only got like 2 or 3, 4 pieces, you're going to have to transfer that colour over quite a lot of the mat. Yeah, if you've got quite a lot of scatter terrain, then you can, you don't have to distribute it as much, because as you put scatter terrain down, you'll be covering the mat. Yeah, so yeah, that's how I do it. And it's how I did it on the Burma build. Do you know what we should do? Or do you know what I need to do? Not so much the second camera, because I can sort that, but I need to be able to flick to a screen where I can start showing you guys photos. Yeah, so when I'm talking about this sort of stuff, I can pick out photos from what I've got. Yeah, Each Surf, thank you so much for that answer. No worries, buddy, I hope it helps you. If anyone else does have any terrain questions, there's a link to the Google Doc below. Yeah, let me throw it in. There's the Google Doc. Yeah, get your questions in there. Yeah. But I'll answer what's in the comments right now. Oi, if we got him a wing chair, he'd be the host of Masterpiece Theatre. Masterpiece Theatre. That's concerning. Do you have any leaf punch that stamps them out in micro size from paper or real leaves? Yeah, I do. I've got a few. Green Stuff World, yeah, produces a range of leaf punches, and they're quite tiny. Yeah, they're tiny enough for what we want to do. They also do a tile punch where you can punch roof tiles. Yeah, individual roof tiles out of cardboard. Yeah, so Green Soft World if you want those. Right. Mark's saying I prefer to make my own mat, not keen on the printed ones. If you're making your own mat, then obviously it's a hell of a lot easier to blend. But generally, most people, they buy commercial mats before they Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Joe's saying, I have to say, the way your paints are set up is very satisfying. Yeah. If you're wondering what that gap is, yeah, I've got my brown here. I can't tell you how long it took me to sort of colour code those, and I still need to shuffle them around a little, but I'm quite happy with them. See, when you work in colour and this sort of stuff, yeah, this just becomes part of the course. Need a co-host for Mel so they can do the Terrainiacs version of History Professors. Something I've looked at, having a co-host and that sort of stuff. What board build are you most proud of? Ooh. Oh, there's been so many. Probably the, what you call it, the Fabled Realms map that I did for Foreground. And I'll tell you why. Yeah, I built loads of boards over the years, and loads before I was the terrain tutor and that sort of stuff. Yeah, and yeah, I've done some really nice boards. But the Fabled Realms map, it was the closest thing to artwork I've ever done, if you know what I mean. It was in a frame, it was. Catch you later, bloody. Spill on aisle 1. But no, the Fabled Realms map, for sure, I think. How about a puppet co-host? Hello! Look, we can't go for a puppet. I already have a reputation for being mad. Is that the snowy one? It is lovely. No. See, this is where we need to bring the pictures in. Yeah, because I have absolutely tons of really good pictures. And that's the terrain tutor. Basic vids, content, collateral. There is so much. Projects. Fabled Realms. It was. I'm not even sure if I can just dump this in now. I'm going to have to see if I can scale that. That one. That's the one I'm most proud of. It was beautiful. Right, let me throw another photo on. Sorry about the way we're throwing them on. This is why I need a photo screen, I think. There you go. And that was a campaign map, 3D campaign map for their sort of like Dungeons and Dragons. Well, their game or that sort of stuff. And it started off life as... Let's find a good photo. That's what it started off like. My mountains are little chunks of foam. Right, let me get rid of these. Yeah, but that is by far my most favourite project. There we go. I need a photo screen, don't we? Definitely. Co-host with red hair and curves. I am not getting the girlfriend on this. Everyone's talking about my paints. I stream with Streamlabs OBS, and that's what I'm using. I have a scene that allows me to capture images from what I'm looking at on machine. I'm sure your software. Yeah, I'm sure we can do it. I just haven't. Oh, pardon me. I just haven't done it before. Yeah, much like the second camera I'm working on. Yeah, for when we do work on the desk. I need to get that set up, but it'll certainly make the shows more interesting when I can actually show you pictures and that sort of stuff. Gordon the Gopher Dancer? Everyone's talking puppets. Your D-Day one was pure eye candy for me though. That was a good one. That was a good one. Where's that one? See, now you've got me sharing, what you call it? Sharing pictures. Get a decent photo of. Where's a decent one? There's so many photos. Oh, you can tell this was done with an older camera. Yeah, I did like that one. That was a good board. Still holds up. crazy thing is thinking about how much more I could do on it and how much better I could make it. Do you know, I have seen, ever since I've made that board, yeah, I have seen so many copies of it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you see so many different copies. I'm just getting a little bit. How far behind is the stream? Looks like there's a hell of a delay. Right. Since I like castles as well, I hope to see you return to Romans and make a Roman castle fortress. Menno, are you what you call it? Are you literally... Are you spying on me, mate? Menno's comment is, since I like castles as well, I hope to see you return to Romans and make a Roman castle fortress. Been digging around with some boxes in the studio. There was an old project I was going to do about 7 years ago with Templars Crusade. And I found this box. And in here, Hail Caesar Roman auxiliaries. They're the Roman catapults, 4 of those. Auxiliaries. Auxiliaries. Cavalry, cavalry, archers, archers, western archers, eastern archers, western archers, cavalry, onager, trebuchet, cavalry, onager, Balearic slingers. Yeah, there's so much. So yeah, I have actually been thinking about Romans and Roman fortresses, funnily enough. Now, to be perfectly honest, I think I'm going to have to get speed paints. Yeah, because there is no way in hell I can do all those. Yeah, normal painting style. Right. Evan's saying, oh my days, that is impressive. I was thinking you could do that for your Burma build. I did catch last week's stream later in the week. That's the plan. I do actually plan to do a campaign map for the Burma build. Yeah, I've actually got the books upstairs. I picked up Warlord Games Combined Arms game. Yeah, early last week that it got here. Yeah, I've been moseying through that as regards to using the hex system. Yeah, so hopefully if Lee's still watching, yeah, we'll see about getting a few games of that in. You know what I mean? Where is that now? Where is what now? Which one? The D-Day, I don't know where they are. The Fable Realms map is at Beasts of War. That was the last time I saw that, and that was before the pandemic. Yeah. I don't know where the D-Day board is. It's not still in Southport. The last I heard, yeah, Warlord Games had borrowed it for one of their event days. But that was just in the pandemic and that sort of stuff. So I don't even know. He's psychic. Pile of shame. It's not a pile of shame. The Romans aren't a pile of shame. It's just the project never... It was supposed to be like this big campaign between me and about another 7 different streamers at the time. But it never got off the ground. But Warlords sent us all armies for it. And it's just sat there because, you know, I've got... I've got no reason, yeah, to need a Roman army. Especially one that's like... I think I worked it out when I counted it up. I think there's like 200 infantry troops in it. I could always subcontract the minis out to TTT patrons. I need to look at speed paints. Now that would be an interesting terrain build. Full Colosseum of cheering crowds in the stands and a gladiatorial arena. Calm down! I was thinking of like a log fortress, that sort of stuff. Isn't that what children are for? Fortunately, my children, they've been through the mill too many times. They already know what's going on. We've got no hope on that count. No hope whatsoever. Dirk's saying, funny enough, I've been gifted 80 Celtic warriors by a friend, and now I have to start building a fortress, and we'll add some Romans to it. It's how it happens. Jimmy's saying, my Roman pile of shame includes 6 early Imperial Roman started sets. Jimmy's saying, a proper fortress or a marching camp? I was thinking a marching camp for me. But he's asking Dirk. It's not a pile of shame, it's a pile of opportunity. I like that thinking. Hooray for Boudica. It's not a pile, it's a mountain. It is. I have a box of Romans, Mel. You can paint them up for me when you do the rest. You can bugger off, Lee. If you want a Colosseum, Tabletop Witchcrafts have a set of plans and tutorials for it, along with a lot of other pieces which are downright crazy. Look, I just found some Romans. Can we calm down? I mentioned, look, I found some Romans, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, build a Colosseum, hey, build a fortress, build a... You know how I get. Right, let's have a look at the questions. Remember, folks, if you're liking the show, hit the like button, and there are links down below. Right, I've got 8 questions, so we've got something. Right, Bat's asking, do you know of any templates for the leaves on palm trees? And so I'm doing a 1/35 Dakar, diorama. Do you know, I haven't actually seen, any templates for palm tree leaves. None at all. My advice to you is perhaps hit up one of the model suppliers like AK Interactive or something like that. They usually do laser cut paper leaves to do your plants out of. Find a find a pack of those, get their leaves, very carefully take their laser cut leaves out of the sheath, the paper you get them on, yeah, and then use that as your template. Yeah, I mean, it's already laser cut, pre-cut to a perfect scale, and it's palm tree leaves. Yeah, and you'll even have the originals, so you can compare yours to the originals. So that's how I'd approach that. Yeah, I haven't actually seen any specific templates for doing palm tree leaves, but if you pop those out, yeah, you will be left with a template. Build all of Rome. Might take more than a day. You can calm down. You can calm down. Right, Bat. That's the best way I can think of doing that. Evan's going, glad to see you back, Mel. I'm doing some forest terrain inspired by your big Burma build. Any tips for dealing with those flimsy little plastic plants? I sprayed them, then dry brushed them, and they turned out okay, but the paint started to crack and flake off a little. Right, yeah, you'll get that if you spray them. You're going to have problems with that. The issue is that spray paint and even normal acrylic, it's not designed to be flexible, mate. Yeah, whereas plastic plants, you know, they bend. Yeah, you've got a couple of ways around this, okay? Yeah, if they are starting to crack and flake and they're large plants, you might want to consider being a bit abrasive with them. Yeah, and sort of get any sort of loose bits off now. Sorry, guys. So get any loose bits off now. Yeah, and then you can repaint them. Yeah, now if you're going to repaint them, yeah, what you can do is you can add a little bit of PVA to your acrylic. Okay, that'll make it a little bit more flexible. You can lightly dust them with an airbrush without them cracking, which is what I do. Yeah, or you can apply a wash to them. Well, a wash is far better. It'll shade them, take the matte effect down. Yeah, but it'll also it's a lot more flexible because it's not as thick, so you won't get the cracking. The other thing to mention is it's important when you use plastic plants to wash them. Okay, in warm soapy water and then rinse them off with some cool water afterwards, because they can have a mold release on them which stops the acrylic paint from gripping and binding to them properly, and that can cause the flaking. Now I realise, yeah, that's probably not going to be helping you that much right now, but that's what you've got to think about moving forward. With regards to your plants cracking at the minute, it may just be a matter of having a look at which ones are really bad, abrase them to get what's already fallen and cracking, get that off, and do a quick touch-up job. Yeah, that's my best suggestion on that one. Hope that helps, Evan. Evan's saying, not sure that would work for you though, as they don't look like palm tree leaves. Oh, okay, I missed something. A Green Stuff World make paper ground palms that you pull out and use the rest of the paper as a template. So that's basically what I said. Right, okay. But saying stencil it. People are still talking about Romans. Azrael saying another option for palm trees is to look at Papercut's channel. He did some awesome palm trees. Papercuts. I haven't heard that name for a while, but yeah. Mel's Romans. Legio Melicus Terrainius. The Terrainius is my edition. Just a glaze of contrast paint will filter the leaf colours, darken or lighten with various green contrasts. Medium seen as more flexible. Contrast paint then. I haven't actually got my hands on any contrast paints or speed paints yet, so I really haven't played with them. But yeah, if they're like washes, if they're a fine pigment, that sort of stuff, translucent, they'll work great for plastic plants. No, that's great, Mal. I only have one base foot. Oh, excellent. He's only done one plastic plant, so he's just experimenting. But you got it nailed, mate. Like, above all, people are saying washes, contrast paints, that sort of stuff. I'd go with that. Ink washes are good. You can get a little bottle of, acrylic ink, like the brown acrylic inks. And one of those lasts you forever. And you just thin it down, splash it on, dead easy. Yeah, I mean, I think you'll pay like £3 for like quite a decent sized bottle. That'll easily do a number of tables. Right, moving on. Jason, have you ever used UV resin for water effects? No, I haven't. Now, I'm assuming by UV resin you're talking about UV curing resin. Never had the setup for it. Never really needed it, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, some point I probably will come back and look at it, but I've never done it as yet. You know, and so I can't even comment. I haven't even looked into it, to be truthful, other than a few bit of a casual glance. I've seen it a few times, and it's been like, yeah, that's cool. I'll look at that at some point in the future. But it's one of those things that, I mean, generally doing water effects and waves and oceans, that's pretty rare in modelling. That's sort of up there in modelling anyway. So using UV curing resin, it's quite specialist. And you know me, I like the essential stuff. I like building simple stuff really good. And so I tend to sort of, I mean, even airbrushing is pushing it for me. Right. Moving on. Question 4 of 8. Tom's asking, have you got any more fungus terrain coming up? If you're talking about like the swamp and that sort of stuff, I've got ideas for it. Yeah, I want to do some like swampy trees and swampy rocks. Okay, real sort of dank, dark, mouldy feel to them. Thing is, what I don't want to do is go straight down a rabbit hole of doing loads of swamp stuff one after the other, which is why I've spent this week, you know, I dived into the Burma build. Yeah, I've also got that display shelf we were working that's been sitting on the what you call it, the side in the studio. So I actually want to put some effort into that and get that sort of moving as well. Okay, so the plan is there is definitely more fungus sort of swampy terrain coming up. Okay, it's just I've got a couple of projects I want to sort of put a couple of weeks into first. So more than likely, yeah, you're going to see some more swampy stuff probably tail end of next month. Yeah, I'll probably end up filming it middle of the month. Yeah, because I've got a couple of weeks to do on, you know, the big Burma build and on the display shelf and that sort of stuff. Yeah, so yeah, you will be seeing some. It just won't be coming out in loads. So the issue is it's quite cool, yeah, but once you've got the style set down, there's not much new in each video I can show, if you know what I mean. Yeah, so what I didn't want is a glutton of videos, yeah, that were all pretty much essentially the same. So I'm spreading it out a little bit, but yes, there's definitely more of that coming because I'm enjoying it. Need to figure out what to do with it. I've got no games to play with it or anything like that. Right. We are on to question 5 of 8. Let's do this. Right. A Great Night Gaming. Don't know if you've seen any of Ian's of Battle YouTube videos. I haven't. He did a cave board about 1-2 months ago where he printed some cave stalactite formations and basically made a board with a ceiling. Is this something you could have done better without a 3D printer? Or maybe go to it into the future in a second book? I've made cave terrain before. We did a cave on the on the Frostgrave board. Yeah, I'm not going to say that I can do it better because I haven't even seen it. Yeah, and I don't like saying I can do things better than other people. You know what I mean? It's not my way. Yeah, I could definitely have a go at it. Yeah. In a future second book, I think I've already commented, if there was ever going to be a second book, I think it would more be about making big sets than loads of different bits and bobs of terrain. I'm not sure. Yeah? Hey, Pandy? Right. Bit of a difficult one to answer, that one. Right, moving on. Question 6 of 8. Get your questions in, folks. If you don't, I can't continue the show. Alright, I've thrown the link in the comments. I'll tell you what we could do. Yeah, and we won't do it this show, but you can get your thinking hats on. We'll have to brainstorm a Roman build series. You know what I mean? Tomikas. Any idea how I can make diamond plate floors without using pre-made sheets of styrene? I'm working on a sci-fi installation. Right, yeah, I know what your issue is here. Right. He's asking, yeah, you know in sci-fi situations where they have the metallic floors with the diamond plate on it, which is basically lots of little lines and stuff like that. Yeah? How do you replicate that without buying pre-made sheets? What you've got to do is you've got to go and have a look, and there's a couple of ways you can do it. There's two that I've seen. Yeah? You've got to either do a deep dive, yeah, into like embossed wallpaper and find a wallpaper that will work. And there's a few, yeah, but you've got to be sort of lucky and find someone who's manufacturing something that'll work and then grab a few rolls. The other thing is, in the range in the UK, they have paper embossers, yeah, a little bit like rollers and stuff like that, that will emboss paper, yeah. And I have seen one with quite a good sort of pattern that would work for a sci-fi floor, with that sort of checkered pattern. Yeah, so you could check the range and check the paper craft section in the range. Yeah, you might come across something there. Yeah, but generally it's sheets of styrene from evergreen. I mean, I don't know. I haven't checked in a long time, but there are a lot of rollers now, texture rollers for basing and stuff like that. It might be worth checking Green Stuff World, yeah, and have a look at their textured rollers. See if they've got any sci-fi floor texture rollers that you could see what you could do with. Bit difficult, I know. I'm just thinking on my feet here. Do you know, watch, I know I've been mentioning Green Stuff World a lot lately, yeah, but I've got to say, they do an awesome collection of really useful stuff. I mean, back when I first started using Green Stuff's World stuff, yeah, they'd only pretty much started out, but since then, yeah, you know what I mean, they've exploded. Real good stuff. Right. Second book, Mel's Roman World. No. Andy's building a gladiator arena. CJ is saying watch Hadrian's Wall. New video series confirmed. Mel builds entirety of Roman Britain. Do not, Evan. Now I'm getting distracted. You lot are awful for this. It is a good idea though, isn't it? Romans. Haven't we been we batted round an idea of doing a medieval build series as well. Right, I'm not doing it until at least I finish off these swamp bit pieces and I can get my hands on some speed paints or something like that, because there is no way, yeah, I'm painting those the normal way. No chance. Yeah, I mean, just putting them together is going to be like a challenge. Castle build. I fought along a wall. Will you lot stop it? I'm telling you now. Stop it. Yeah, stop it. It's like old times, isn't it? Right, guys, you're putting a smile on my face, so I'm going to do a bit of self-promotion. If you are enjoying the show, you're liking it, there are links down below. Right now, yeah, we've got a target. We're building up for a third camera setup in the studio, which means when I'm filming my stuff, I want to be able to give you an overhead shot as well, rather than just the side shot. You can help make that happen by clicking the links down below and sending a donation on PayPal. If you're not into PayPal, there's the studio link, there's the wish list for Amazon on there, and also a link to the clan on Patreon. Yeah, so you can jump on one of those too. I'm rubbish at self-promoting, but there you go, guys. Right. CJ saying check the PayPal. Right. I don't think anything else is coming in PayPal because I haven't had any notifications, but I will check. Oh. Oh. CJ! Thank you, buddy. Clyde, thank you. Nice one, buddy. Right. Right, I'll be clear. We're not doing go for dances until we hit the watch call, until we hit that third camera setup. I can update it and that sort of stuff, but I'm getting too old for go for dances now, folks. Thank you, CJ. Thank you. And thanks, Clyde. Get the man some nuggets. Right. Roman buildings I first think of the art air-fixed Roman castle. You could copy it in bigger scale. I really like the idea of a marching fortress. But then, we've also got the walls of Elysium. Is it not? It's not the walls of Elysium, is it? What were the walls? The double walls. You know, where they when they were battling against the Germanics, and they circled the Germanics and then built an outer defensive walls, and were fighting them on the inside and the outside. Calm down, Axis and aliens. Right. Question 7 of 9. Morton. What is a cheap alternative to resin for waters and rivers and such? If you want a really cheap alternative, to water, clear silicon sealant. Okay? All you got to do, paint your base blue, or your shades of blue, get a load of silicon sealant, squeeze it out onto a little bit of plastic bag or something, get a little plastic spatula or something. There's two ways of doing it. You can use a little plastic spatula, scoop it up, smear it over your blue base, and then stipple it. Okay? Or if you've got a really large area of what sort of ocean to do, what you can do is you can get a carrier bag, scrunch it all up, so it's all irregular and that sort of stuff, bash it into your clear silicon sealant, and then dab it down and stipple it like that. Both of those, that's a really cheap way of getting it on the board and looking good, That's probably the cheapest way. You can, there's glues and other things that you can use, but I generally sort of tend to avoid those because it's never a reliable supply and you can never be sure how they're going to react over time. But clear silicon sealant is designed to stay clear and not discolor and that sort of stuff. On top of that, quite often you can get paintable clear silicon sealant, which means you can go along afterwards and dry brush it with a little bit of white to bring out the peaks and that sort of stuff and give the frothy water effect. So, I hope that helps you, buddy. Caesar versus the Gauls. That was it. The Stuarts, can models interact on top of the sealant? Yes. Once it's dry, no worries at all. You can put all sorts of models over it. Evan, thank you, buddy. Thanks for everything you do, Mel. I lost the terrain bugger a while back and your glorious return is inspiring me to get back into it, and now I'm going full throttle. Even bought a 3D printer that arrived today. There you go, buddy. Do you know what? The fact that people are getting back into terrain as I'm getting back into terrain, that's awesome, mate. That is really awesome. Right, just finish off the Stuarts. Yes, on the silicon, they can... No issues with models around plastic, metal, perfectly fine. It's actually quite soft and that sort of stuff. John McCleary's Ghost. I bought 3 tubes of clear silicon, but we have never used it. Time to try it. Do it, mate. Do it. Also, that stuff goes off, so get it used. We Germans didn't let them settle down long enough for a siege. Virus is still a big name here. You see, I forget I've got German viewers as well. Now I imagine I've probably got Italian viewers as well, so we could start a combat in the chat here. It could get quite interesting. Mel's Keeper of the Mojo. Thank you, Clyde. Have you ever tried polyurethane or epoxy stuff that you use on boats? Can that be used? Yeah, yeah, you can put down a layer of varnish over a paint of blue. That's perfectly fine. I mean, you can put down a layer of varnish, okay? Or, just make sure it's clear, okay? You don't want the brown stuff, yeah? You can use that, and then once that's dried, you can actually go in and selectively stipple with with a bit of clear silicone as well. Did I do this in the book? If you ain't got it, get it. Terrain Essentials, a book about making wargame terrain by Mel Bose, the terrain tutor. Water section. Yeah, I covered all this in the book. It's all in that section, under the faster stuff. Thought I had. That's all. So there. No worries more. Has the war in Ukraine brought any new terrain ideas to the fore? No. No, it hasn't. Specifically, I'm not looking at it for that context. I have a policy, yeah, and this is absolutely nothing on anyone else, yeah, but I don't do modern wargaming, yeah, as in modern period. Right now, I won't even do the Falklands, yeah, it's just too fresh of a wargaming period for me, yeah. Second World War, I mean, let me explain the reasons behind this, yeah. We're war gamers, yeah. We play games with, with soldiers and that sort of stuff, and they die on the tabletop. I've got a lot of friends who have served. I've got a lot of friends who are currently serving. I've got family who are currently serving. Yeah, I've got friends who have children who are currently serving, and I could not live with myself if I was to do like a setup for something modern. And then I heard one of them had lost their lives in that environment while I was playing games on it. And that's just something personal for me. Yeah. So I always had this sort of rule that, yeah, nothing before, nothing before sort of like the Falklands. Yeah. Now what got me was I met a Chindit. Yeah. By accident. Yeah, he was collecting in the local town centre. Yeah, round Remembrance, and he was a Chindit, and that suddenly brought it home that I've got your mates on my table. Yeah, and that's sort of like, ooh, you know what I mean? But I've sort of like, with World War II game, it's like, all right, that really, there's not many people with living memory, and, it is very much in the consciousness. There's lots of World War II games that have been around, I don't feel so bad. It's just occasionally, when I met that Chindit, it was like, whoa, your game suddenly becomes real. I mean, my next game on the Burma build after meeting him, that was a little bit, hey up. Yeah, so I don't do modern wargaming, and I don't look at modern conflicts from the stage of terrain making. If I want to look at like destroyed buildings and stuff like that, there's enough photos of the Blitz around, yeah, without having to go through what the world's go. I mean, the whole point of me doing this terrain tutor channel and all that sort of stuff is to give everyone a place to get the hell away from that stuff. You know what I mean? For us to all come in and actually do something, and to do something that brings everyone together as well. So yeah, a little bit personal on that one, but no, I've not sort of gone down that route because of that sort of consciousness. It's why I like the idea of making like Romans and stuff like that, because I feel completely safe with it. Students are saying, that's a great personal policy. It has me reflecting. I mean, it comes from a fact that, I was asked to build a table, yeah, for a conflict, yeah, that someone very close to me was actually in at the time. you know, and I was sending care packages, yeah, via his wife to him. Yeah, it was a mate of mine, AD, he was an Afghan. Yeah, and someone wanted an Afghan commission. And I'm thinking, there is no way. If something happens to AD, you know what I mean? And I'm here making, no, it's just, no way. And it sort of came from there. Eat surf. Yeah, I agree with you about not digging into modern stuff. Thank you for not talking about it. Look, I understand there's loads of people who do modern stuff and that's perfect, you know, that's absolutely your thing, you know. This is just my personal preference, if you know what I mean. I'm not judging anyone who does modern stuff. I mean, a lot of the modern stuff is actually used, you know, quite usefully and that sort of stuff. I mean, I know Martin, yeah. Martin's massively into his sort of cops and robbers games. And that's, you know, I find that interesting. It's just the idea of I've got too many friends who've been around too many conflicts. I mean, there's, you know, I know people who've lost family to suicide who were in the Falklands, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. So there's a lot of conflicts that are just a bit too personal for me. Right, we're going to move on. Rob saying, and yeah, Diane saying the reason I like sci-fi and fantasy, yeah, and it's escapism. Rob saying it's why I build fantasy boards. Yeah. Yeah, I get that. I was browsing STL files the other day and actually saw Ukrainian and Russian soldiers. It just felt wrong. Yeah, I can't do it. I'm not going to judge anyone for doing it because I don't believe in judging. You know what I mean? Yeah, but no. I could enjoy a game of Modern Warfare about a fictional Cold War going hot. Yeah, I could do that. World War Three, the Cold, you know, if we went off, because that's where I served in, that's where I was trained for. You know, I sort of served just after the First Gulf War, but the British Army was still very much on a Cold War setting. Yeah, and they followed a lot of Cold War doctrine. So yeah, I could do that, and I could build terrain for it. I'm actually quite interested in it. And where is it? I do actually have an interest in that. Yeah, because, and I know it sounds strange, but it's a fictional setting. Do you know what I mean? I got myself a little warrior. You know, I have been thinking about doing some small scale terrain stuff, and if I did it, then this would be in the environment, but it would be very much the hypothetical, you know, Cold War gone hot. Which, you know, based on the current world, here we are again. Same reason I wouldn't raise an SS army. Yeah. Jimmy's saying, never let real war get in the way of wargaming. One is painful and the other is enjoyment. The two don't meet. Yeah, I get that. Like I say, like I'm saying, this is very much, what you call it, just my personal preference. And when I say personal preference, I mean, this is what I feel comfortable. You know what I mean? If it's your thing and that sort of stuff, fill your boots. Yeah, I just don't feel comfortable wargaming in it. You know, I prefer my more historical stuff and that sort of stuff. Right, I'm moving on from this topic. Gary's got a question for us. Yeah, what would be best to work with a modular foam board or a wooden base for terrain? Glad to see you again, my friend. What would be best to work with, a modular foam board or a wooden base for terrain? Personally, I go for a wooden base. It's durable. If you're talking about table and tiles and that sort of stuff, yeah, you can go for foam. You can get quite chunky foam and that sort of stuff, but it always gets dented in the corners over time and that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. Even with all the protection you can do and that sort of stuff, you can always end up like pushing it, and with it being foam, a wooden base just makes sure it's solid and it's secure. So that's where I would go for, my friend. Right. Last question of the evening. Hakone, any plans for any Caribbean builds? None as yet. I've got an idea for a Caribbean build I'd like to do. I'd like to do a Pirate Cove. Yeah, with all the real vivid water effects and that sort of stuff. But there is no realistic plans for me doing it, to be perfectly honest. None whatsoever. We might get round to it, you know, maybe next year. But as everyone's already established, yeah, we've got the big Burma build to do. Yeah, I've got some swamp training to do. And then I've got to build all of Rome and Britain. Because, I mean, it's going that way, innit? So, the Caribbean will have to wait. But that's okay. Because I fully intend to keep doing this for years to come. Because I love it. Yeah? Excuse to make palm trees. Shut up, John. That's why I'm putting off the Pirate Cove. Because it's bloody palm trees. Would you be available to do your thing exhibit at Ley Festival of Model Railways and Transport Modelling 2024? Time for a little bit quick Google search. This is where we find out whether whether this is a really big event or I'm going to a scout hall. What's the attendance figures? Of light, of art, of music, of dance. I don't see model railways. Oh yeah, there is. Oh, actually looks like a decent event. I could turn up, mate. I might turn up and take a wander. Where is Ley? Oh, that's not bad. It's only in between Manchester and Liverpool. Isn't that Didn't I see that? Oh, there's one on the 9th of September, isn't there? This year. I'll see you this year. I'll see if I can come up. I'll save the event. Send me an email, mate. I'd love to come along to a railway exhibition. I haven't been. I think I called in one. Beaver, this was before the terrain tutor and that sort of stuff. But that could be cool. Pirate Cove could be the cave board, like a hidden lagoon in a dead... Stop it! Stop it. I know what you're doing. You do it every time. You absolutely do it every time. Right. I've got a £28 chat revenue I've got to add to that sort of total, which is just down there. We're going to be winding this up soon. I'm going to be winding it up soon. Yeah. You could do go for dance. No go for dances yet. We hit the go for dance when we hit the camera target. So I'm going to do one last little bit of shameless promotion. Yeah, if you've liked the show, there are links down below, guys. Making that thing ding, put a smile on my face. Yeah. In the meantime, my throat is pretty much had it now, to be perfectly honest. Yeah. I will be back next Sunday. There is a video coming out this Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah, it depends when I get it finished. I'll be showing off the Japanese defences, highlighting the stuff, and we talk about where I'm taking the build next. After that, it's time to jump straight back into into doing the display shelf, and let's get that done. And we've got the swamp terrain to do following that. So there's plenty of going on. In the meantime, guys, I'd like 10 taps off you. 4 for the hell, 1 for the space, 4 for the yeah, want to put a smile on my face. It's been a cracking show, guys. You look after yourself, and I'll see you soon. All the best, yeah? Ta-ra.